podcast mamas are back, and we're going to kick it off with Ryan. Hit it, Ryan. I love when he kicks off the show.
It's time for bed, oh, it's time for you. Mom and Dad says what you gotta do. We don't care if you ain't tired. Take it from the one whom you so admired. It's bedtime for Ella Missy. Don't you cry or go a hissy. No more games and no running around, 'cause we don't wanna hear another sound. Just take your bell and get tucked in, and don't make us swear again and again.
Again and again and again. Carrie, are you swearing again and again and again some days?
Yeah, sometimes for sure.
Welcome back to the podcast mamas. We have our special guest. Jordan's mom is here with Nicole and I today.
Hope everybody knows Jordan now, right?
Yes.
Welcome, Jordan's mom.
Well, if you're following Ella's
Thank you.
Instagram, you really know Jordan's mom.
Yes.
I
For
mean,
Jordan.
he's one of the highlights of her reels
Oh,
these days.
no, yeah, actually I still have to bash you for videotaping me last week. Okay. I mean, if I just didn't have to be in the video, but it was absolutely adorable.
Oh,
adorable. But you didn't mesh out my belly and all that stuff.
Stop! Oh my gosh. So listeners, those who are listening, Valentine's Day was last week, and we popped over to surprise Jordan with a little gift. He loves Mickey Mouse, so we brought him a Valentine's Mickey Mouse, which by the way, I had bought, I think, a month ago because I saw it and I grabbed it. And I have like a closet where I store all the wrapping paper and gifts and stuff. And it had gone missing at least 5 times since I bought it.
Oh, I wonder why.
Your not so secret spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to keep taking it from Ella and putting it in a bag and then hiding it. And then she'd find it and she'd put it back in her room.
You know what's really cute about that, probably, which makes sense? It's almost like, I hate to use these analogies. Humans are the same way, though, too. I'm just going to use a dog analogy, which I shouldn't like.
That's okay.
But because there's so many similarities to like getting my child to take medicine, you put it in peanut butter, like all these things. Like
No,
when
Carrie, this is so true.
All the tricks.
Nicole, she is not lying. I mean, you don't, of course, want to compare your special needs son or daughter to a dog. But in a lot of ways, it's like, well, I'm cleaning up Ella's poop. I'm cleaning up Charlie's poop. Well, I got to convince Ella to do this. How would I coerce Charlie? I mean, I know that sounds insane and not.
Okay, I totally don't want to get off that. I'm not getting off the subject. My head's going to spin now. But do you do this? Okay, let me ask you this, because you have typical kids or other children, which I don't. Do you do the same with your boys?
So let me say this, though.
But my point was really going to be the scent of Ella was really my point. Where I was going with that was the scent on on Mickey, which was actually a good thing probably for him to have. That's where I was going with that.
Oh my gosh,
well,
Carrie.
I think so, because he always is smelling her. He smells the girls, their hair.
Yeah.
And then when he gets Rainbow Bunny, he always has it to his face. He can smell her.
That is so sweet.
That really warms my
So maybe every once in a while we'll have to send Mickey Mouse back with Ella and then send it back like we do with Rainbow Bunny.
Rub it all over her. Well, and that makes me feel very internally happy because I work very hard to make her smell good.
I do the same thing. I put cologne on Jordan every day. Because he likes to be close to those girls.
We are so in sync. We have the same, like, Nicole, you have to know the way Carrie even dresses Jordan is just top of the line, adorable. And
I can tell just from the pictures and the videos.
Yeah, like put aside any like costs, right? Like let's just say that you had a shop at like the bare bones thrift store.
Sure.
You're still picking out awesome attire for him to wear that's trending and
it's so important to me. We're gonna get all over the place again. I was talking to my sister-in-law this weekend, so I had to get a phone from Jordan when I went to school for the basketball game, which we can talk about. Jordan has a phone there that he gets to use, and it was disgusting. I should show up the picture. It was coated in his Oreo cookies and food, like this thick. I'm not even exaggerating. Like,
Okay.
and I was like, I tried to clean it off at school, and then I told the teacher, I'm going to take this home.
Yeah.
So I had to resend in a new phone yesterday because we're having problems. And I put it on. I told her, I said, could you please make sure that he either cleans his phone after every meal, because they let him have it at lunch apparently, which I'm not really thrilled with, but I really can't complain. Or once a week, his responsibility needs to be to clean it. It bothers me to the nth degree when people don't take a closer look at our children and care about what they're holding and how gross it is. Or like one time Jordan came home from school a couple years ago. His shorts were all crooked. His shirt was half tucked. He was like disheveled. And I took a picture and sent it to the teacher. And I'm like, would you let your child walk around looking like this? Like, this is not acceptable. Somebody has to care outside of me.
I couldn't scream to the rooftops more. I mean, Nicole has heard me say, like, Ella sometimes comes home in oversized gym clothing from the school
And they've changed.
Oh, mm-hmm.
because she changed for whatever reason. She didn't like what she was wearing. She saw it lying there and wanted to put it on. Then she argues and they disagree with her. And I've warned the teacher several times, do not send Ella home in other people's clothing, especially if it is atrociously oversized and she looks like she just came from the streets. No.
Yeah. It's you. I mean, I always just think
That's great though that you sent a photo. I'm adopting that one. I like
I just snapped a picture because we would text. So it's just those little things that worry us when we're not around, like who's going to make sure my child is pulled together and
of course.
And is clean. And
let's circle back to that, how there is this comparison to
typical or whatever.
Our kids and how we trick them into doing things like we trick our animals into doing things from time to time. Nicole, can you respond to that? Because you do not have a special needs child in your home. Because I think that I may use some tactics that I use with Ella with the boys. I can't think right now, so I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I think there's always I like to, some might call it trickery, others might call it negotiation.
Yeah, leverage.
Leverage, negotiation. But like in some ways, whether it's like a typical child special needs, right? It's all about like just learned behavior for them, right? For me, it's like come to learn, like you're saying, oh my God, it's like a dog. Like what was what was it you were comparing it to? What did you say?
I mean, so many things because we have a dog that's highly trained and a child I'm trying to highly train. We do a lot of the similar things. Like with animals, you don't discipline them by smacking them or anything. You reinforce them when they do the proper behavior. So that's all. Jordan, with his behavioral issues, everything is about reinforcing his good behavior so that he will repeat that good behavior.
Right. And what is effective? What would be effective rewards?
I mean, so then you would have the device that he wants, withheld somewhere, and then he gets it after he's done his chores, and, gotten dressed and taken his walk or fed his dog or whatever. You withhold the one thing in life he loves.
Does that work? Does he respond to that well?
Yeah, that and Jordan works really well with written visual schedules.
Yeah.
So he can see, like it's written down, you have to brush your teeth, make your bed, get dressed, walk tanker, eat your breakfast, and then iPad's on there. And then as soon as he gets his iPad, he wants the phone. And so I have to put it way down on the list. This is mostly on the weekends, obviously, like when we have all day to fill. And way down on the list is the phone, and so many hours. He sets timers. So timers, visual aids, written things that he can cross off that he feels like he has control. Okay, I ate, I fed the dog. That's a level of control for him.
Yeah, that control factor is really important for them.
You have to feel like you're somewhat in control of your life, even though we constantly control his life, because that's the kind of life he has. It's just the reality of it.
I know.
But that's supposed to give them a sense of control.
I know that we have a lot of negotiating going on over here. It's an exhausting situation of negotiations.
I can only imagine between Ella and then 2 teenage boys. Forget it.
Yeah. I know. She's a miracle mama.
That's a lot.
I was not that brave, obviously. We both firstborn children. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
I think I was so, I can't, remind me, Carrie, did you know when he was in utero that there
No,
was
it happened
something?
at birth.
It
It
happened at
happened in
birth.
a stroke of
Okay.
birth. Yeah.
Okay. And then you just were like, okay, I can't go through this again. This is it for
Yeah.
me.
I was just worried about, his life and how he was, trying to get him to as far as I could
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
stopped. Yeah.
and I was just, I need to know. My body, my brain, my heart, I need to know what it's like on the other side.
Hmm.
So, and did they tell you that it probably wouldn't happen again?
They told me they couldn't promise me that it wouldn't happen again.
Okay. The words they used for me were, it has just as much of a chance as happening again as it would to a first time parent. So the odds were really, really low. Although I got to tell you, that day getting wheeled into my C section for Carter, the second born, I broke down hysterical to Chad saying, what if, what if it happens again?
Mm-hmm.
Because with Ella, yeah, she measured small in utero, so she had intrauterine growth retardation, they called it.
Mm-hmm.
But she always measured proportionate, so they ruled out Down syndrome, which was like the big one, right? And we didn't do an amnio, so we didn't know anything else. And it wouldn't have changed anything. I was still going to have her.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were shocked that it was, the doom and gloom situation that they presented when she was born. And then, sure enough, she showed them. So
Right.
She
here we
sure
are.
has.
She's bouncing around Vegas, giving everyone the finger.
Man, still jealous of that trip. John said to me after he saw you,
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, something about your Vegas trip." I'm like, "Oh man, it was epic."
I know. That was so fun. We're
Yeah.
we're going back this weekend, so get
Are
ready.
you? I love it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the best part is that Ella has no fear, and best and worst part, I should say. She has no fear in talking to anybody, so she creates really great footage just
Uh,
following her around. But then the side note is, if I don't have a sidekick with me to shut her down from talking to the person selling drugs on the street, or the half naked woman in feathers that wants to charge me $20 to take her photo, that's where it becomes a problem. So
oh my God.
we'll see how that goes this time around. But Jordan and Ella have had quite the adventures together, I'd say, in the second half of the school year. Carrie, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see what. Sorry, brain dead.
Well,
We
we had the one situation where we came over because you were out walking Tanker.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That was
Oh, yes. We talked about that, right? When
but
we
it didn't
did talk about
record.
that.
It didn't record.
Oh, got it.
So, Carrie,
Okay.
can you share the story from your perspective of that day so that
I'm
I
so
could?
glad that somebody's asking me, because my husband came home that night after he got wind of it and did not care to ask me and had a total major meltdown with me about that, which, is one of
That's-
those situations with families that, or whatever, husbands,
Judgy,
it's
judgy
not,
husbands. No, no,
yes,
no.
not acceptable. Tried to make me feel like I was the worst parent in the world. And I don't even buy that shit for a second. So
No, that's
I
not
know that.
allowed. What the heck? We're doing the best we freaking can. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me right now?
And so, so obviously my village saved me, or saved him, or although I don't really know. So then I can get Carly's. I never even really asked you either. We've talked about these behavioral problems that we've seen, and I kind of just choose not to ask. I live with it every day. I'm just like, yep, okay. I don't really need the details because I live it every day.
Yeah.
Although maybe I should be more.
No, it's hard.
Whatever.
This is hard stuff.
Yeah.
This is hard stuff.
So basically what happened was my girlfriends came over. We were going to take the dogs for a walk. We kind of congregated in my courtyard, and then the second person showed up, and I had Jordan, like any other child, almost again, younger, if you will start to really get to you when he knows you've got people that you're trying to engage with. And it's a perfect time to pull that. I'm going to melt down if I don't get something. And it wasn't time for his iPad yet. He has to wait when he gets home from school. And so I handed him my phone. And then my friends show up, and then we start to take a walk. and we're just going around the block. Block is very small. There's grass on the other side. We wound up stopping on the other side.
And this is
So I
something
get
that
a
you have typically done with him before. You can leave
yes,
and do this short little
yes,
jaunt,
yes.
and he's
But
fine.
I did make a few poor decisions. Normally I go out the garage door, but we were in the courtyard, so I normally would lock that courtyard gate.
Okay.
So so then the mistakes I made. So what caused all the issue was I left him with my phone, and as I got around the corner, I was like, "Oh, I don't have my phone," and I'm like, "Well, he's happy. He's got my phone. As long as he's got some device in his hand, he's happy."
Right.
But I used the phone also to check on him through the cameras that we have in the house. And so we stood over there for a little while, and I told my friends, "Oh shoot, I don't have my phone. I probably should go." And then we talked for a little bit longer. Anyways, as I'm coming back around the block, that's when Elisa was coming to find me, which is my neighbor who lives across the street. She saw Jordan out first. And then the story I got was she saw Jordan first, and then she didn't know what to do. Well, she tried to call me, and I didn't have my phone. So then she called Carly, and Carly headed over. Carly did ping me on the way, I believe, if I
Yeah.
recall the thread.
Yeah.
But she was en route because she heard that she left a voicemail
Yeah.
or text or something. I mean, you can finish the story. You were here, but then as I came around the corner, Lisa's like, "I was looking for you because Jordan was outside," and I'm sorry. I called Carly, and I'm like, "Oh, no problem." And my attitude was totally like, well,
Right.
it was just like, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Carly's here. We'll have a glass of wine." I'm kidding. I'm like,
So
no.
I
But I hadn't processed it all yet. I saw your car, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I know Jordy's fine. Like, I know I know
yeah.
exactly what he's doing. He was standing in the driveway looking for my ass because he wanted his freaking iPad.
Right.
Wanted his iPad, even though he had my phone, did not care. He knew what time it was. He
Right.
wanted my iPad. So again, the mistakes I made was I took my phone, so I couldn't check him, and then I didn't lock the gate, so he was out in the driveway.
Okay. And those are
Got
things that
Carly there.
usually are not happening when
Always happen. Oh, always happen if I'm going anywhere. Yeah. But
right.
yes, I am able to leave him, as you know, Carly,
Which
and
is
go
so
around the block.
cool. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Anytime I leave Ella, she is out in a driveway walking down the street. Mommy, where are you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I got a little bit of taste of that, that's for sure. So
Um,
same thing,
so here's where my thinking went. So when Elisa called me, and it was a cold day, that was the only reason we cared. He was barefoot, and it was a cold day. Otherwise, it would have been like, oh, just chill, buddy. She'll be on her way. So I came over, and I thought to myself, if I can't get him in the house, I'll FaceTime Ella, and Ella can get him in the house. So after calling you, and then I called Ashley to see if she was home, and she was like, no, I'm not, but if you need Andrew, he's home. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to call Ella because she was out at Starbucks with Hannah. And I'm going to get her on the phone and see if I can coerce him in the house. If I need backup from Andrew, I'll let you know. So I get there, and he was standing with another neighbor. I don't know who his name, but I had Ella on the phone. And I was like, Jordan, it's Ella. Can we go in the house and you can show me where your shoes are and we'll go look for mom? And like nothing. Walked right in the house. Ella was talking to him. It was fantastic. But then he was a little frustrated because he wanted the iPad. And I was so mad at myself that I couldn't figure out pada, because that's how he says it. Now I know. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we're looking for here. Let's figure it out. Let's find your shoes. And I had Ella on the FaceTime still. And then he hit himself, which made me so sad. And I was like, buddy, don't hit yourself. Don't do that. And he was getting frustrated. I'm like, Ella, maybe you should come over and help me with Jordan so he doesn't get mad at me because I don't know what he wants and I can't figure it out. And so then I hung up with them and sent my location just to make sure Hannah could find us. So that's why they were en route. And then we're looking. I'm like, gosh, buddy, I wish I knew what you wanted. And I see that he's got this phone. And had I tried to FaceTime you, I would have figured out that he had your phone. So all these things, I'm like, oh man, if only, right? So now I've got some tricks in my toolbox for the next time if this should ever happen again.
Right.
So then we're looking for shoes, and he gets mad at me again, or not mad at me, but mad at himself, and he hits himself. And I'm like, oh no, we can't do this, buddy, because he makes me feel so bad, right? So then I
Yeah.
called Ashley and I said, Ashley, I'm going to need Andrew to come over because I don't want Jordan to hit himself, and I'm trying to figure out what he wants, and I can't figure it out. So that's why Andrew came over. So I alerted the press to come over and help figure the situation out because, again, we just didn't know how far away you were. And I figured you weren't far. But anyway, so then we were having a party and you walked in literally 2 minutes later. So that's kind of how it all went down. So
Yeah.
from my perspective, I'm like, oh, I just wish I could understand what he said.
You know, Carly, you did say when I walked in, you said you had figured it out before I got there.
Oh, Hannah did.
I was saying one of you guys did. Because then
Yes.
you guys all went looking and then Andrew said, oh, I'm like, oh, he has his iPad. And then you're
Yes,
like,
that's
I
right.
thought you guys found it in the hiding spot, which would have been a Christmas miracle.
I know.
But Andrew found his iPad that we use for school in his backpack. And you want to know the one thing that went well that day was that normally I have it locked into an app that he can only access at school for communication.
Okay.
It must have been unlocked because he had it and he was on the Wi-Fi, which is what he wants. He wants to be on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
So Andrew's like, oh, he found his iPad. Or I found his iPad.
That's right.
I go, that's not the one he wants, but that's okay. And he's like, I go, well, he wants YouTube. He's like, no, he's on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good. Because he would have continued to protest for sure.
Yeah.
No, he would have protested with that iPad because it wouldn't be what he wanted. He doesn't want his communication app. He wants any device that he can access YouTube.
Yes.
So that would have been a longer delay, but he seemed fine when I was there because he had an iPad in his hand and he was on. So.
No, you're right. Hannah did say, I know that iPad is a reward. I'm betting that it's hidden somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so then that's when Andrew found it in the backpack.
Yeah.
Got it out. We got him on the Wi-Fi. Yes, you're right. And he was totally fine when you walked in. It just took us to figure out what did he want and how to find it. And then it was all good. So.
And then where was I? Yeah. Where was I? So.
But
yeah,
we didn't even need you after that.
I know. I should have turned around and left. He was. I'm out of here.
But what was so great was that Ella came storming in and she was like, Jordan, no hitting, stay calm. And she's got this thing with him, which is so freaking adorable that they have this relationship, which she gets upset. So I'm going to fast forward to his birthday party. She gets very upset when people sing happy birthday to her. And I do not know why.
Oh, Jordan has that too. He'll even cry or. Yeah.
She can't stand it. So she's comforting him. Remember in that video?
Yes.
Where they're singing happy birthday because she knows how upset it makes her. She was making sure he wasn't upset.
Mm-hmm.
Their little dynamic is the most special thing you can't even imagine, right?
We missed a moment. I was in the kitchen and they were sitting on the couch before we were singing and she had her arm around him and I was looking, my hands were so full and I don't even know where my phone was. I don't watch it when I've got a house full of people. And I was like, who's got a phone? I wanted somebody to capture that so bad.
Yeah.
It's in my brain. And they do that all the
video. I have her comforting. Remember that video I posted?
Oh.
You didn't see it?
Oh yeah. I just don't.
So that was number 2 is celebrating his birthday party. That was a lot of fun because the two of them hung out together.
Yes, I was so glad you guys came. That's our annual open barbecue that I turned into a little smattering of. I'm like, I might as well. Jordan's birthday is always the week of the open and it kind of gets overlooked, but he's also this child that doesn't care about these things. And so he doesn't, and John's usually gone because it's during the week and then we have everybody come in for the weekend and it's crazy and it basically gets overlooked, but he doesn't care. So, but I'm like, oh, well, this year we're going to actually celebrate Jordan because it's a big birthday. So I made it a little bit about him.
How old was he, by the way? I'm sorry.
He just turned 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So since it was 21, I'm like, we're going to make this a bigger deal than just kind of me singing to him.
I mean, Nicole, what are you doing for your eldest for his birthdays these days? Do you guys take him to dinner? Do you have a party? What do you guys do?
So we usually try to go to dinner. I guess it'll just, it obviously depends. I think this year he definitely wants to do a dinner because next year he'll be away for his birthday. And then we do something family.
Okay.
Just family. I don't typically do things with kids. So yeah,
I mean,
just
and that would be
family.
our reality too, with a kid, teenager turning,
Yeah,
a certain age. It's like I'm not going to have a party at the house for them per se,
totally.
but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Chase didn't even want one for his 13th. I had to beg him to have one for his 14th. And Carter, I'd say for the last, he had one last year that he arranged on his own, but prior to that, nothing. No part, just
mhm,
dinner with family, which I think is
Yeah,
totally appropriate
for
for their
sure.
age, you know? So
yeah.
that's something to
Well,
be
I
like
think
comfortable
yeah,
with.
I think it's whatever like you and the kid are comfortable with, no matter what you're talking about. Typical children, special needs, obviously special needs, probably more of a focus on what they're comfortable with, not overwhelming them, those types of
Hmm.
things.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely. But I don't think we're out of the realm of, just doing like a nice dinner with just family for any of our teens,
Oh,
regardless,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
you know.
sure. And that's the problem with us is we don't have family here. So
Right. Or your family. We'll go to dinner
yeah,
with you.
we have new family, but yeah, we don't. So we can't. Otherwise, we would do the same thing. Come on, grandma, grandpa, come over. That's like the basketball thing. It was like so adorable to show up and see all of Ella's grandparents there. It was
Oh,
beautiful
and
Oh,
that's the other event with
event.
Jordan was
I
okay,
was just gonna say
And they
that
made the
I watched.
news. They both
Carrie.
made the
That was
news.
I
amazing.
And
mean,
Carly was on the news. Thank
yeah,
God,
but
better you than me.
I mean, like, okay, Carrie, we only have a little bit of time left, but you
I
have
know.
got to share the conversation and your thought process when they came up to Carrie and they said, Jordan's going to shoot a hoop next. Get ready. Go.
Yeah. And what did I do? I almost climbed underneath the teacher. Oh, I was just thinking about this yesterday too. I hate to go off on tangent. I don't recall seeing a schedule or anything there. Like he wasn't really having it. He wasn't into it. I had to kind of get off the bleachers once and talk him down from his behaviors. Um, but he did it. He was the last one to do it. They make every child shoot a basket, and come hell or high water, they're going to make him do that. And he was the last one they got to do
But I
it,
thought it was what
and
was
he
really
did it.
cool was that the aide, his,
Yeah, his peer, his
who was with
peer
his peer,
was a peer. Yeah,
who's cute little senior girl, right, is
yeah,
standing there with him. And it was like, okay, phase one, we're going to get the phone away from Jordan,
Phase one.
right? So phase one, I'm like, Carrie, she got the phone out of his hands. We're moving forward. You're like,
yeah.
I don't know about this. And then they move from one basket to the other basket. I'm like, Carrie, he's walking with her to the basket and he's got a ball. And she's like, I don't know about this. And then the next thing you know, her kid's on the news shooting the hoop. I mean, it, it was
It
Yeah,
was
so
fantastic.
exciting.
It was fun
yeah,
to watch.
Really, really
yeah.
fun.
That piece turned out so nice. I'm so glad he was because I was going to do a piece on social media, but they had already capsulated all of it and what it was all about. And both of our kids made the scene, and you were there. And I'm like, oh my God, all I have to do is throw this out on social media. I'm done.
Boom.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was
Yeah,
cool. But like I said,
I
they're
loved seeing that.
I know.
yeah, it
Loved
was
it.
cute. Yeah.
Pretty special. And to my knowledge, like I said before, I don't think that is happening at any of the other high schools in the
Hey,
district or else.
so how do you feel about principal? You heard that Dr. Hirsch is leaving, right? Or retiring.
Yeah, I know.
I actually had the privilege of talking to her last week because my son had a moment at school, and I get the call from the principal. We're thick as thieves,
That's
but
a
she's the
relationship
best.
to have. That's a
She
relationship.
is the best. I mean, she takes time out of her day. She's like, I heard a little smattering on the walkie-talkie that something was going on. And I'm like, I'm on the side of the hill hiking with my sister-in-law. And I'm like, oh, we have to go back. I have to go. I think I have to go to school. She's like, no,
Oh,
no, no, don't come down here. I just want to talk to you and ask you. She want to ask me a question.
oh,
And I'm like,
Carrie.
she's just the
Wow.
best. She's literally the best. And I said, well, since I have you on the phone, then I have this opportunity to say to you, congratulations. And boy, am I going to miss you. And
Yeah,
she's like, you're choking me up right now. You have been an inspiration to me as a parent. And I'm like, well, that's,
she's
my
right.
child.
She's right.
So,
She's right. I feel
yeah.
like
So,
you need to be on the board, the
oh
committee
God.
to pick the next one. I,
Oh,
No, truly, because having,
Hopefully they have some sped background. She has some, so I think that
yeah,
helps, you know.
yeah, but
But I've
it's,
always been so impressed with how much she can, you know, she can be in touch with somebody like she's got 2,500 students at that school, and she can pick up the phone and call me and talk to me and
okay,
tell me, no, no,
parents.
no, it's fine. She's like, I just peeked in on him. He's fine. He's fine. I'm just telling. I was wondering if you thought, it was A, B, or C, or what are your thoughts? And I'm
I
like,
need to repeat this for people who are listening. This is the principal of a high school of about 2,500 students. And this principal has created a relationship with Carrie because of her son and has taken an active interest in his well being. That is
Wow.
something to be said. That's incredible. And it has been, you're right, like you said, such a privilege to have her at the helm. And how are those shoes going to be filled? Well,
yeah. And maybe we should brainstorm a little bit. Like I said, I'm sure I'll hopefully see you or talk to you again before the end of the year, but maybe I'm sure they're doing something for her as a collective, teachers, staff.
yeah,
But maybe we could put our heads together and
yeah, yeah,
do something ourselves that stands out a little bit more, maybe
yeah.
from the sped
I'd
something.
definitely be in for that. But and even questioning who is representing special education on the committee that's choosing the next principal.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, we kind of
Yeah,
need to ask that
that's a
question.
good call. Mm-hmm.
So, oh my gosh, it's always so great to have you on the show, Carrie.
Thank you. So just to real quick, Jordan did get a bowling ball for
Ah,
Christmas.
that's
Okay, and
right.
I took it and had
Wow.
the holes drilled, and he has his name on it. And the woman, you have to wait till you see it. When she was carving out his name, she slipped, and it looks like a J apostrophe O R. She's like, "Do you want me to fix it?" And then Jordan was with me, and I'm like, "No, it's good. I can't sit around while you
Fix it.
polish this off and
Yeah,
restart. We have to go."
me too.
We're done. We're done hanging out in the pro shop at the Via Linda Valero. I'm out of here. That's my patience. I'm like, that's all I could do to get him, just to get his hands, like he had to, like
Oh
work
yeah,
it, and
because
they had to drill. Yeah. So we need to maybe go bowling. We could
yes,
throw that ball.
yes, 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 we do. When's our next day off? We need to figure that out.
Well, I don't know if we're maybe around for part of the week of spring break. Are you guys going somewhere?
No, we're here because Carter can't travel because he's in the different spring break. So
Okay. Well,
we're
there's
here.
there's that.
There's
Okay.
definitely spring break. Definitely
Yeah.
spring break. All right, friends and fans. We got to close out another fun episode of the podcast, Mamas. Carrie, it is so freaking fun to have you on the show. You offer such great insight and information,
So
and oh, I just love it. So,
Thank you for
me
joining
too.
us, Carrie. We
Yes.
love
oh my,
watching Jordan's journeys, that's for
oh,
sure.
I
And
love
he
that,
has been
Nicole.
such, oh,
Jordan's journeys.
Nicole
didn't
is
even
so
mean
good
that.
with alliteration. I love that.
Yeah.
Ditto, girls. Ditto. It's been fun. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So, with that, we're going to close out with Ryan, remembering that a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. We all need
Certainly take a minute every day to reflect on what you're grateful for. There's always so much to be grateful for.
That's true. Thank you. You're right.
always something. Thanks, ladies, and peace out.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great week.